Gathered here today are souls who have felt the silent yearning for a life of freedom, of joy, of plenty. You have looked at your circumstances and perhaps thought, is this all there is? I am here to tell you, with the certainty of the rising sun, that it is not. You have been told that wealth is a matter of luck, of birth, of tireless, joyless toil. That is the great human error. The game of life is not a game of chance. It is a game of laws. And the supply for every demand is right here, waiting for you to claim it. The title of our talk today is The 7 Divine Laws That Will Transform Your Wealth. These are not my laws. They are the immutable laws of the universe, the very principles upon which creation is built. Learn them, live them, and you will not simply hope for abundance. You will command it. The principle that your words create your financial reality is the very cornerstone upon which a life of opulence is built. It is a truth so profound, yet so often dismissed as mere fancy, that its neglect is the primary reason so many remain in a state of perpetual want. We live in a universe that is not deaf, but exquisitely attentive. It is a universe of vibration, of energy, and your spoken words are the tuning forks that set the frequency of your experience. When you speak, you are not merely communicating with others, you are issuing a direct command to the substance of the universe, instructing it on how to arrange itself around you. Think of your word as your wand, a potent tool of creation that you wield with every sentence, every casual remark, every whispered fear. For too long, humanity has wielded this wand unconsciously, waving it about with reckless abandon, creating chaos and limitation, and then looking upon the wreckage of its own life and calling it fate. Today, you awaken to the truth. Your financial state is not fate, but a direct and unerring reflection of your most dominant words. Consider the language of lack that has become the common tongue of the world. Phrases like, "I can't afford it," are spoken without a second thought. But what is this statement? Truly, it is a powerful decree, a declaration of limitation. When you utter these words, you are not just describing a temporary cash flow issue. You are slamming a door in the face of infinite supply. You are instructing your subconscious mind, that faithful and unquestioning servant, to ensure that opportunities, ideas, and resources that would allow you to afford your desire are kept far from you. The subconscious mind does not judge, it simply obeys. It hears, "can't afford," and it diligently goes to work to make that reality unshakable. It will blind you to a job opening, make you forget a brilliant idea, or create an unexpected expense to validate your spoken decree. You have given the order, and the universe has no choice but to comply. This negative financial incantation takes many forms. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. It's a struggle to get by. I'm always broke just before payday. Each of these is an affirmation. Each phrase, repeated with feeling, impresses itself upon the invisible substance of life and crystallizes into hard fact. You build a prison of poverty with the bricks of your own vocabulary. When you speak of struggle, you invite a battle. When you condemn wealth, you ensure it avoids you, for why would abundance come where it is not welcome? You cannot despise the rich and become one of them, for you would be acting against your own declared law. Your words create a magnetic field around you. Words of lack, fear, and resentment create a field that actively repels money and opportunity. It is not that money is avoiding you, it is that your verbal energy field makes it impossible for it to draw near. The transformation begins the moment you take conscious control of this power. You must become a vigilant gatekeeper of your mouth, allowing only words that align with the reality you wish to experience to pass your lips. This is not about lying or denying your current circumstances. It is about imposing a higher truth upon a lesser condition. If the bank account shows a low balance, you do not deny the number, but you cease to give it power by speaking of it. Instead, you speak of the truth of your reality, which is that your supply is infinite because it comes from an infinite source. You change your affirmation from one of lack to one of abundance. You begin to wield your wand with deliberate, creative intent. The art of the affirmation is the art of creation. Your new language must be bold, faith-filled, and spoken with authority. Instead of "I can't afford it," you declare, "That is for me. I claim it now under grace, and it appears in my life in the perfect way." Instead of worrying about bills, you look at them and affirm with unshakable conviction, "My coffers are endlessly full. Every bill is paid. Every need is met, with avalanches of abundance now pouring into my life." These are not just pretty words. They are commands. They are the reprogramming of your subconscious mind. They are the new blueprint from which your faithful servant will begin to construct your experience. You must speak your word as if it were already accomplished fact. The universe knows only the present moment. When you say, "I am prosperous," you align your vibration with the reality of prosperity now, and the physical manifestation must follow. Think of a student I knew who was a talented artist, but was drowning in debt. His every conversation was laced with the poison of his poverty. "The art world is impossible. No one pays what my work is worth," he would lament. He was painting his own grim reality with his words. I instructed him to completely change his tune. He was to say, "Morning, noon, and night. I am a divinely successful artist. I am now swept into my right place, doing my right work for my right. Magnificent pay." He was. Thank the universe for tremendous success. He felt foolish at first, for the outer world showed no evidence of this truth, but he persisted. He starved his old fears by refusing to voice them, and fed his new faith with his powerful affirmations. Within a few months, the shift began. An old acquaintance called out of the blue to commission a large painting. A gallery that had previously rejected him invited him to participate in a show. A magazine featured his work. His words, sent out with force and faith, had rearranged his world. He did not find success. He called it forth. This is the divine law you hold at your disposal. Your financial world is not a solid, unchangeable structure. It is a fluid, energetic state, constantly responding to the vibration you emit. And the most powerful tool you have for controlling that vibration is the word you speak. The great human error in the face of lack is to fight it. When the wolf of want scratches at your door, your first instinct is to barricade it, to expend all your energy in a desperate, fearful struggle against the intruder. You wrestle with your debts. You battle your anxieties. You wage war against the specter of poverty. Yet, in doing so, you unwittingly give this enemy all your strength, all your focus, all your precious life force. The universal law is absolute. That which you resist, you empower. By fighting a condition, you impress its reality more deeply upon your subconscious mind. You energize its form in the invisible realm, and you guarantee its persistence in your material world. The path to financial freedom is not through combat, but through the divine and seemingly paradoxical law of non-resistance. You must cease fighting lack, and learn to dissolve it through the transformative power of blessing and acceptance. This struggle manifests most acutely in our relationship with bills and debts. For many, the arrival of an envelope in the mail can trigger a wave of dread, a tightening in the chest. A bill becomes more than a piece of paper. It becomes a symbol of failure, a taunting reminder of not enough. The emotional reaction is one of resistance, anger at the company, fear of consequences, resentment for the obligation. Every ounce of this negative energy is a prayer for more lack. It is a powerful affirmation to the universe that you are a person defined by debt, a being hounded by obligations. The universe, in its impersonal wisdom, simply agrees and sends you more circumstances to validate your belief. You cannot escape a prison by constantly examining the strength of its bars and the thickness of its walls. You escape by turning your attention to the key that has been in your pocket all along. The key is this: you must learn to bless your bills. This is not a Pollyanna platitude. It is a profound metaphysical technique for transmuting energy. When a bill arrives, instead of recoiling in fear, you must hold it in your hand and shift your entire perception of it. First, you acknowledge the service it represents. That electricity bill is not a punishment. It is a record of the warm light that allowed you to read, the power that cooked your food, the energy that connected you to the world. That rent statement is a testament to the shelter that kept you safe and warm. You have already received the benefit. The bill is simply the closing of an energy circuit. By recognizing this, you move out of a mindset of debt and into one of gratitude for services rendered. Once you have acknowledged the service, you actively bless the bill. This blessing is a twofold action. You bless the company that sent it, wishing them prosperity and success. This neutralizes any resentment within you and replaces it with goodwill, a much higher vibration. Then, you bless the bill itself. You look upon it and speak a powerful affirmation of truth, superimposing the divine reality over the material appearance of lack. You say with unwavering conviction, I bless you for the service you represent. I see you paid in full, under grace and in perfect ways, from my infinite and inexhaustible supply. You must feel the relief and gratitude as if the check were already signed and mailed. You are not lying to yourself. You are aligning yourself with the higher law that states your supply is infinite. You are telling your subconscious mind, the appearance of lack is an illusion, the truth is abundance, and we are acting from that truth now. Imagine a woman I knew who was terrorized by a mountain of credit card debt. The red, final notice stamps on the envelopes governed her emotional life. She was fighting a losing battle, her health and peace of mind in tatters. I instructed her to stop fighting. When the next bill came, she was to perform this ritual. She was to thank the credit card company for the food, clothes, and experiences it had allowed her to have. She was to hold the bill and say, "You are not a threat, but an opportunity to witness God's supply in action. I bless you, and I see you completely and easily erased through my divine right of abundance." It was difficult at first. Her mind screamed in protest, but she persisted. Every day she ceased her worrying and instead spent time blessing her debts away. A strange peace began to settle over her. She was no longer energizing the problem. By refusing to resist it, she robbed it of its power. Within weeks, the shift began in the outer world. An idea for a small home business came to her as if from nowhere. She acted on this intuitive lead, another law in action, and it brought in a surprising stream of income. A forgotten insurance policy paid out a small dividend. The mountain of debt began to shrink, not because she fought it, but because she turned her back on it, focused on the truth of her supply, and allowed the universe to orchestrate the This principle of non-resistance extends beyond bills. It applies to every appearance of lack. When you see others enjoying wealth, and you feel a pang of envy, you are resisting. Envy is a statement that there isn't enough to go around. You must immediately bless that person and their wealth, affirming, I bless their good, and I know that what God has done for them, He now does for me and more. When the inner voice of scarcity begins to whisper fears in your ear, do not argue with it. That is resistance. Simply replace its whisper with a roar of truth. My supply is infinite, and all my needs are met now and forevermore. By refusing to engage with the negative thought, you starve it. It withers and dies from lack of attention. Cease the struggle. Lay down your arms in the war against poverty. Your strength is needed not for fighting the darkness, but for turning on the light. And the light of non-resistant, blessing-filled faith is so brilliant that no shadow of lack can possibly survive in its presence. The human mind, conditioned by generations of fear, clings to a profound fallacy that the path to having more is to clutch tightly to what one already possesses. It sees life as a zero-sum game, a finite pie where another's gain must be your loss, and where giving anything away leaves you with less. This viewpoint is the very architecture of poverty. It is a dam built of fear that blocks the divine flow of substance into your life. The universe operates on a contrary and miraculous principle, the immutable law of circulation. Wealth is not a stagnant pond to be hoarded, but a rushing, living river that must flow through you, not just to you. The very act of fearless, cheerful giving is what carves the channel for receiving. Life is a boomerang. What you send out with your heart and your hand returns to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This law is not a sentimental platitude. It is as real and as impersonal as the law of gravity. Nature itself is our greatest teacher in this regard. The farmer cannot expect a harvest by hoarding his best seeds in a barn. He must give them to the soil. The sun does not hoard its light. It gives it away endlessly, and in doing so, sustains all of life, which in turn reflects its glory. You must breathe out to breathe in. To hold your breath is to perish. To hold your substance, be it money, love, or talent, is to spiritually suffocate. When you give, you are making a powerful statement of faith to the universe, and more importantly, to your own subconscious mind. You are declaring through action, which is far more potent than words alone, that you believe in your own inexhaustible supply. You are behaving like a wealthy person, and since life is but a mirror reflecting your own beliefs back to you, it has no choice but to manifest the reality of wealth for you. The crucial element, the one that ignites the magic of this law, is the motive behind the gift. The universe does not measure the amount given, but the faith and cheerfulness with which it is released. Giving out of a sense of fear, duty, or obligation is not true giving. If you give while inwardly flinching at the loss, you are sending out a boomerang of lack. You are essentially saying, I am giving this, but I fear I don't have enough. And the law will faithfully return to you more evidence of not enough. Likewise, giving with a string attached, with the calculated expectation of a specific return from a specific source, constipates the flow. It is an attempt to manipulate the law, and the law cannot be fooled. True, powerful giving is fearless giving. It is spontaneous, joyful, and free from any thought of return. It is giving for the sheer delight of it. It is an act of aligning with the opulent, generous nature of the universe itself. When an intuitive hunch prompts you to give a larger tip than usual, to donate to a cause that touches your heart, or to help a friend in need, you must act on it without hesitation. That hunch is infinite intelligence, showing you an opportunity to open your own floodgates. A man I once knew was facing eviction, with only a few dollars to his name. He was walking down the street, consumed with worry, when he saw a woman crying because she had lost her bus fare. The logic of his fear screamed at him to keep walking, but a stronger inner voice, his intuition, prompted him to give her the money she needed. In that moment, he had a choice between fear and faith. He chose faith. He gave her the money freely, saying to himself, "Infinite supply is my source. I can't be depleted." He felt an immediate sense of release and peace. The next day, a company he had done a small job for months ago and had written off as a bad debt, called him to apologize for their error and sent him a check for an amount that not only covered his rent, but sustained him for weeks. Did his giving make them call? It set in motion the divine law that dissolved the appearance of his lack and allowed his good, which was always there, to manifest on the outer plane. This law extends far beyond the giving of money. You can be the most powerful giver in the world without spending a dime. Give appreciation, give praise, give encouragement. When you see a job well done, praise it. When you encounter good service, appreciate it. When you see a friend succeeding, bless them and celebrate their success, as if it were your own. This sends out a powerful vibration of abundance and goodwill. To begrudge another's success is a form of spiritual poverty, an affirmation that you believe there isn't enough good to go around. To celebrate another's success is to affirm that you live in an abundant universe where there is plenty for all, including you. The ancient practice of tithing is a structured application of this law, when done not from a place of dogmatic fear, but from a place of joyful recognition of God as your source. It is immensely powerful. It is the act of giving the first tenth of your increase back to the source of your inspiration, thereby acknowledging that the entirety of it comes from that source. This act impresses upon the subconscious mind the truth that you are so confident in your infinite supply that you can fearlessly give a portion away, knowing the rest is blessed, and will go further than the whole would have without the blessing. The empty purse is not caused by what is taken out of it, but by what is not allowed to flow through it. Cease damming the flow with fear. Become a fearless giver, a cheerful circulator of the divine good, and prepare yourself for a harvest so abundant you will need more barns in which to store it. Within every man and woman, there are two minds, the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious mind is the mortal mind of reason, the mind that sees the world of appearances, that reads the news, that feels the sting of limitation. It is the gatekeeper, the watcher at the threshold. But behind this watcher lies a vast, immensely powerful, and utterly impersonal servant, the subconscious mind. This deeper mind is pure, creative energy. It is the soil in which thoughts and images take root. It is the dark room where the pictures you take with your conscious mind are developed into the tangible realities of your life. The subconscious mind does not reason, argue, or judge. It simply accepts as truth whatever the conscious mind impresses upon it with conviction and feeling. For years, you have been giving this powerful servant a flawed blueprint, a blueprint of lack, struggle, and debt, and it has faithfully, tirelessly, and perfectly constructed that very reality for you. The transformation of your wealth, therefore, depends entirely upon your willingness to consciously create and impress a new blueprint upon this fertile creative mind. You have been impressing the subconscious mind your entire life, though most likely in ignorance of the power you were wielding. Every time you worry, you are engaging in a powerful form of mental imagery. Worry is not a passive state, it is an active, creative process. When you worry about not having enough money to pay your rent, you are not simply thinking a thought. You are running a vivid motion picture in your mind. You see yourself opening the final demand notice. You feel the knot of fear in your stomach. You imagine the landlord's angry voice. You picture the humiliation of being unable to provide for your family. This mental movie is filled with sensory detail and charged with the powerful emotion of fear. To the subconscious mind, this is not a what if. It is a direct command. It is a detailed architectural plan for a house of poverty. The subconscious accepts this emotionally charged blueprint and immediately sets to work, arranging circumstances to match the picture. It will cause you to overlook an opportunity, make a foolish spending decision, or miss a deadline, all in perfect obedience to the picture of failure you have handed it. Your fear-filled daydreams are your prayers for what you do not want, and they are answered with unerring precision. The moment you grasp this truth, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You become the master designer of your destiny. You must now cease being a careless photographer, snapping pictures of lack and limitation, and become a divine artist, deliberately composing a masterpiece of prosperity. This is the work of creating a new blueprint. It begins with clarity. The subconscious mind cannot work with vague desires. I want more money is a weak and fuzzy instruction. You must be specific. What does prosperity look like to you? Is it a specific number in your bank account? Is it the feeling of tearing up your mortgage papers? Is it the image of your business thriving, with happy customers and devoted employees? Is it the freedom to write a check for a loved one's education, without a moment's hesitation? You must decide on the finished picture. Create a clear, sharp, and detailed image of your desire fulfilled. Once you have the image, you must begin the process of impressing it. The veil between the conscious and subconscious minds is thinnest just before you fall asleep, And just as you awaken, these are the golden moments for your creative work. Lie down, relax your body, and let go of the thoughts of the day. Then, bring your new picture to the screen of your mind. Do not see it as a distant future hope. See it as a present reality. If your desire is a new home, do not picture yourself looking for one. Picture yourself in it. Walk through the rooms. Feel the texture of the furniture. Smell the scent of flowers in the garden. Hear the laughter of your family echoing in the halls. Involve all your senses to make the image as real as possible. This sensory detail is vital. But the true catalyst, the ingredient that develops the film, is emotion. A cold, intellectual picture has little power. You must charge your blueprint with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As you visualize yourself in your new home, you must feel the profound joy, the deep sense of security, the overwhelming gratitude that you would feel if it were already a physical fact. This feeling is the language the subconscious mind understands best. The feeling of relief from all financial pressure, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of opulent security. This is the magnetic force that draws the physical manifestation to you. You are generating the emotional equivalent of your desire, and the law of attraction dictates that the physical equivalent must follow. This is not a one-time fancy. The old blueprint of lack was impressed upon your mind through years of repetition. The new blueprint of prosperity must be impressed with equal, if not greater, persistence and faith. Every day, you must take out your divine blueprint and study it, feel it, and rejoice in it. When the old thoughts of fear and doubt try to creep in during the day, and they will, you must not fight them, simply replace them. See them as shadows and turn on the light of your new mental image. Thank your subconscious for reminding you to focus on your truth. Affirm, I have impressed my subconscious mind with the perfect picture of my divine prosperity, and it now works tirelessly to bring this to pass. You are the architect giving orders to a master builder. A good architect would never give the builder a perfect blueprint and then run over every hour to scream, "Are you sure you can do it? It looks impossible. I bet it's going to fail." That would create only chaos and confusion. You must hand over the blueprint with unwavering faith, knowing the builder is infinitely capable and is already at work. Trust your faithful servant. Keep your mental picture clear and bright. Charge it with faith and gratitude, and the structure of your new prosperous life will rise before your very eyes. While you are impressing your subconscious mind with the blueprint of your prosperity and speaking the word of your abundance, there is another divine faculty you must learn to recognize and obey: your intuition. You have a direct, private line to infinite intelligence, a celestial telephone that is perpetually ringing with perfect guidance. This guidance is not reserved for a select few mystics or saints. It is the birthright of every soul. The universe is not a silent, unfeeling machine. It is a living intelligence that yearns to guide you, to lead you around every pitfall and along the most direct path to your highest good, which includes your boundless wealth. The reason so many wander in a wilderness of confusion and financial lack is that they pray for guidance and then refuse to pick up the phone when it rings. They listen instead to the noisy, fearful chatter of the intellect, which can only reason from the world of appearances and is therefore a poor guide to the land of miracle. Your intuition is this divine telephone. It is the voice of God speaking directly to you. It rarely shouts. It speaks in a still, small voice, a quiet inner knowing. It often comes as a hunch, a sudden, persistent urge to do something that may seem completely illogical to your reasoning mind. It might be an instruction to call that person, go to that place, or say this specific thing. A true intuitive lead is always calm and free from anxiety. It feels natural, certain, and peaceful, even if it prompts you to take a bold or unconventional action. This is how you distinguish it from its counterfeits: fear and desire. Fear is always frantic, accompanied by a feeling of dread and pressure. Desire is often selfish and impatient. True intuition is serene and carries with it a sense of rightness. It is your infallible guide, and learning to trust and act upon it is the master key to unlocking your fortune. The intellect, on its own, is a treacherous guide in the quest for prosperity. It will tell you, you can't start a business, the economy is bad. It will whisper, don't invest in that, it's too risky. It will argue, you can't ask for a raise, they'll say no. It bases all its conclusions on past evidence and present appearances of limitation. But intuition operates from a higher plane. It has access to the divine blueprint of your life. It knows the location of every hidden supply, every waiting opportunity, every person who is meant to help you. It sees the end result and gives you the next perfect step to take to reach it. To follow your intuition is to walk a charmed path, to be in the right place at the right time, to seemingly luck into success. But it is not luck, it is divine obedience. Consider a woman I knew who was in desperate financial straits. She affirmed her supply and prayed for a definite lead. One morning she had a strong, persistent hunch to walk down a particular street she rarely visited. Her intellect protested, "Why? It's out of your way, there's nothing for you there." But she had learned to recognize the calm certainty of the inner voice. She obeyed. As she walked down that street, she met an old, wealthy friend she hadn't seen in years. The friend, delighted to see her, began to talk about a new project she was funding, and upon learning of the woman's situation, realized she was the perfect person to manage a key aspect of it. She was offered a position that day, with a salary that dwarfed her previous income, and solved all her financial problems in an instant. Had she listened to the logic of her intellect, she would have missed her divinely appointed opportunity. The infinite mind had arranged the meeting, and her only responsibility was to follow the simple, intuitive instruction to walk down a certain street. This is how the game is played. You affirm you're good, and then you listen. You ask for a definite lead, and you prepare to act. The guidance may be surprising. An artist seeking a commission may get a hunch to clean his studio. It seems unproductive. But as he cleans, he finds a long-lost sketchbook that contains the very idea a new client is looking for. A man needing to make a difficult business decision might get the hunch to go fishing. As he sits in the quiet of nature, the perfect, inspired solution flashes into his mind, clear and whole. The how is not your business. The universe's ways are ingenious, and often beyond the comprehension of your reasoning mind. Your part is simply to be a good soldier, to obey your marching orders without question. To cultivate this faculty, you must practice. Start with small things. When you can't decide what to eat or what to wear, ask for a lead and follow the first hunch. The more you use your intuition and see its perfect results, the stronger your faith will grow. It is a muscle. Use it, and it develops. You must also create space for it to speak. A mind cluttered with worry and fear is like a radio station full of static. The clear signal cannot get through. Spend time in quiet, even if just for a few minutes a day. Affirm, I am divinely guided. I am a perfect, non-resistant instrument for the voice of my intuition. When you have a financial decision to make, don't rush into it with anxiety. Be still and ask for a definite lead, affirming that you will recognize and act upon it. Trust that inner voice. It is your senior partner, the all-knowing guide, who is leading you unerringly toward the gold at the end of your personal rainbow. You have learned to speak the word of abundance, to bless your seeming lack, to give with fearless joy, to impress a new blueprint on your powerful subconscious mind, and to follow your divine intuition. Yet, there remains one final, supreme act of faith that unlocks the kingdom and allows wealth to flow to you effortlessly and ceaselessly. This is the act of release. You must release the burdens of the past through forgiveness, and you must release the anxious striving for the future by surrendering to the divine design for your life. These two acts are the master keys that swing wide the gates of opulence, for they clear away the final and most stubborn obstacles that stand between you and your good. First, you must address the heavy invisible chains that shackle you to past misery, unforgiveness. Resentment, bitterness, blame, and condemnation are not merely unpleasant emotions. They are toxic spiritual acids that corrode the vessel that contains them. To hold a grievance against another person is to be energetically chained to that person and that unhappy event. You are drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. In truth, you are only poisoning your own experience, creating a dense, dark vibration around you that makes it impossible for the light of prosperity and joy to penetrate. Your good, including your money, cannot reach you through a thick fog of resentment. It is a law. You cannot be shackled to the injustices of the past and expect to run freely into your glorious, wealthy future. Many people resist forgiveness because they feel it condones the other person's wrongful action. This is a profound misunderstanding of the law. Forgiveness is not for the other person's sake. It is a profoundly selfish act for your own liberation. It is not about forgetting or making excuses. It is about canceling a debt so that you no longer have to carry it on your spiritual ledger. You must cut the cord. A woman I knew was a brilliant designer, yet her career was stalled and she was constantly in financial difficulty. Upon speaking with her, I found she harbored a deep and bitter resentment toward a relative who had wronged her family years ago. She spoke of this injustice daily, keeping the wound fresh and alive. She was trying to build a beautiful future on a toxic foundation of hate. I told her, "My dear, you are chained to a corpse. You must cut yourself free." The work was to consciously and deliberately release the debt. Every day she had to affirm, "I forgive everyone and everyone forgives me. I release this person to their highest good, and I go free to mine. The past has no power over me. The slate is wiped clean." She also had to forgive herself for her years of bitterness. It was a struggle against her sense of righteousness, but she persisted. As she spoke the words of forgiveness, she began to feel a lightness she hadn't felt in years. She was no longer leaking her precious life force into a dead past. Within a month, her career took a remarkable turn. A major contract she had given up on was suddenly revived and offered to her. Her creative ideas flowed freely. By forgiving, she had cleared the channel, and her long-delayed good rushed in to fill the vacuum. You must do the same. Search your heart for any unforgiveness, any resentment, any blame. Release it all now. Cancel every debt. You are wiping the slate clean for God to write upon it a new story of wealth and success. Having cleared the debts of the past, you must now release the anxieties of the future. This is the final surrender to the divine design. You see, infinite intelligence holds a perfect pattern for your life, a flawless blueprint that includes not only boundless prosperity, but also perfect health, joyous love, and fulfilling self-expression. Your human intellectual plans are often small, flawed, and born of fear. You strive, you struggle, you worry, you try to force doors open, all while the grand, divinely orchestrated plan is waiting patiently for you to simply get out of the way. To let go and let God's plan unfold is the ultimate act of faith. It is to cease telling the infinite mind how to do its job. So many people pray for prosperity and then immediately give the universe a detailed list of instructions on how that prosperity should arrive through this specific job, from that specific person, by this specific date. This is like giving an order to a master chef and then running into the kitchen to tell him how to chop the onions. It is an interference that only slows down the process. The ways of infinite intelligence are ingenious and often surprising. Its plan for you is far grander and more wonderful than anything your limited intellect could conceive. Your work is to relax, trust, and allow. Let the game be played through you, not by you. When you have spoken your word, impressed your subconscious, and followed your intuitive leads, you must then enter a state of active faith, which means letting go of all anxious thought and concern about the outcome. A powerful statement for this is, "I let go of my small human plans, and I now demand the manifestation of the divine design of my life." I am now in my right place, under grace, doing my perfect work for my perfect pay. All that is mine by divine right now comes to me easily and effortlessly. By making this statement, you take your clumsy human hands off the steering wheel and allow the divine chauffeur to take over. He knows the road. He knows every shortcut and every scenic route. He will drive you to your destination in perfect comfort and style. Your struggle is what keeps your good away. When you cease striving and enter into trust, your supply is released. It was always there waiting for you, but your own tension and fear were holding it back. Let go and let God. This is the final secret. It is the Sabbath of the soul, the place of rest, where you cease your labor and simply allow your good to pour into your life from every direction. So I say to you now, stand up and cast off the heavy chains of the past. Forgive not for their sake, but for your own, so you may travel light into the glorious future that awaits you. Stop presenting your small, fearful plans to an infinite intelligence that holds a masterpiece for your life. Let go. Let go of the struggle, the worry, the resentment, the need to know how. Your only work is to keep your vision bright and your faith unshaken. Trust in the unseen. Have faith in the divine plan that is already perfect and complete. Step aside and let God do his work, for he is the master architect, the infallible guide, the royal treasurer of the universe. Go forth from this place, not as beggars hoping for crumbs, but as heirs claiming your vast inheritance. The gates of your kingdom are unlocked. Walk through them now with heads held high, and claim the lavish, joyous, and abundant life that is, and always has been, yours by divine right.